But in the world segment, the recent terrorist attack at a natural gas plant in Algeria, which together with the counter-strike by Algiers left at least 37 foreign hostages and 29 militants dead, has aroused fears that we are watching the resurrection of Al-Qaeda, no longer just in Southwest Asia, but in many corners of Africa as well. There's little doubt that the terrorists who seized the plant are brutal, nasty people, but many questions about them remain. Are they really a branch of Al-Qaeda? Do they have global jihadist aims? Do they seek to destroy our way of life? It's vitally important that we understand these groups so that our response to them is tailored to the facts. The Algerian group responsible for the attack, Al-Mulattamin Brigade, literally the brigade of the masked ones, is led by Mukhtar Belmokhtar, who has been fighting the Algerian government for 2 decades. He came to prominence in Algeria in the 1990s. That's when Algeria's Islamic political parties were poised to win parliamentary elections. But in 1992, the Algerian army cancelled the elections, banned the Islamic Salvation Front that was poised to win, and began a brutal offensive against the militant Islamic groups that subsequently emerged. In that war, between 150,000 and 200,000 Algerians died. The most extreme groups that survived continued to battle the Algerian state, but they never espoused larger jihadist goals. In fact, far from being nihilistic, they were careful never to blow up oil pipelines, though there are thousands of miles of exposed pipelines in oil-rich Algeria, because they wanted to replace the government, not destroy the world. It is these groups that a few years ago morphed into Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb. They have survived not because of any ideological support from the population. Some factions have prospered by thoroughly un-Islamic activities like the smuggling of drugs and tobacco. Belmokhtar is nicknamed the Marlboro Man for that reason. In recent years, they've stumbled upon a far more lucrative business, hostage-taking. Belmokhtar and other groups like his in Mali and Niger have kidnapped Westerners and extracted princely ransoms in return. According to the U.S. Treasury, the average ransom for a Western hostage held by AQIM in 2011 was $5.4 million. This sort of terrorism pays richly in this world, not the next. Belmokhtar leads one of several groups in the region that are loosely affiliated with Al-Qaeda. Iyad Ghali leads another, Ansar Dine, which last year seized control of parts of northern Mali and imposed Sharia law. Ghali is a larger-than-life figure who has spent long years fighting not for Islam, but for the rights of his ethnic group, the Tuaregs. He created Ansar Dine, which means supporters of religion, when he was passed over for leadership of the main Tuareg rebel movement. Ansar Dine soon became an effective and brutal militia. What conclusions can we draw from all this? That these groups are largely composed of local thugs with long-standing local grievances that often have very little to do with global Islamic jihad. Terrorism has also been very good business for them. While their own causes have lost support at home, they have latched onto the Al-Qaeda brand in the hope of enhancing their appeal and perhaps crucially gaining global attention. Keep in mind Osama bin Laden's words in 2004. All that we have to do is to send 2 mujahideen to the furthest point east to raise a piece of cloth on which is written Al-Qaeda in order to make the generals race there to cause America to suffer human, economic, and political losses. To elevate these thugs and smugglers to grand ideological foes is to play into their own hands. For more on this, you can